guys, how you doing? You guys know that anytime I cook, it's a banger. So today we are going to be cooking turkey and egg stew, tagliatelle and Rottini pasta. So we start off by boiling our turkey and season it. Went in with Maggi, curry, thyme and all-purpose seasoning in my turkey. Then I got started on my beef. I was going to be making two different types of beef today, which they don't have a name because I just did it from my head. Like I said, I like playing around with food. So I started off by, seasoning my beef. I did not boil the beef in case you want to follow this recipe. I did not boil the beef. I just seasoned it, used lemon. I mixed my seasoning already. I added oil. And the reason why you see me continuously adding oil is because I don't want the meat to be dry, because dry meat fit choke you. So I went in with my scent leaf and my rosemary for extra scent because I was low on bay leaf. Then I covered that up, and it was time for it to go to Orun Arimabo. If you are Yoruba, I'm sure you're going to understand that. So I want to seal it very well. That was why I was doubling the foil paper, because most of the time it tends to fall out or come out. You see, even as I used double foil paper, it was still not standing. So I placed it on my turkey that was already on the fire boiling for it to steam. So it's not really boiling. I wanted it to steam. Then I started on my roasted steam meat. This one was going into the oven. I went in with my paprika, chili pepper, lemon, all-purpose seasoning, garlic, ginger, honey. Yes, honey is very good in meat like this. I wish you guys can taste it. I went in with my atarodo, that is blended habanero pepper, and I massaged it thoroughly into my meat. I did it a couple of times repeatedly, and see how the meat is looking like. And for reference, the kind of meat I used was tozo meat, that's cow haunch. It is the sweetest and the best kind of meat you can have. If you know, you know. So I flipped it over, and I repeated the same process I did at the front. I repeated it at the back. My chili pepper, my oil, and my seasonings. If you notice, I add oil so that it's not going to be dry. If you don't add oil, it's going to be dry. Then I went in with my rosemary and my scent leaf, and I wrapped that up, and it was time to go into the oven. I already preheated my oven at 150 degree, and I placed my meat inside and let it cook. In no time, I checked my meat and it was ready. Both the turkey and the meat I was boiling, they were both ready. So I brought out my steamed meat and set that aside for later because we were going to be frying that. I also took off my turkey from the fire because by now it was already ready. It was juicy and very delicious. And in no time, I started on my fish. Went in with my all-purpose seasoning, fish seasoning, garlic, pepper, salt, ginger, and my fish mix, which consisted of bleached red oil and blended habanero pepper. I was going to rub that on the fish and massage it to the fish so that it is going to give it a very nice and juicy taste. I flipped my fish over and I did the same thing to the other side. I added my seasoning, I added my pepper to it, and rubbed it on every side, massaged it into it. You can have too much of seasoning though, but you can never have too much of fillings yet. Added my lemons, and now it was time to pack madam and throw her into the oven. So like I did earlier, I wrapped my fish up and seal it very, very tight. You want to seal this very, very tight. You don't want there to be opening, because at the end of when you're done cooking, there's going to be water, and you don't want it to be messy because you might also want to use the water, the juice from the fish. Yes, you might want to use it. So I wrapped it up very, very well, and I threw it into the oven, and in no time I started on making my stew. In my already heated oil, I went in with my blended tomato and habanero pepper, and I let that fry for about 5 to 10 minutes. I added my seasoning, Benny, I added soy sauce, suya, and I also covered it for some time. I waited for some minutes and stirred it. I know some of you will be like, the oil is too much, the whatever is too much. Please, it's not you that is eating it. In fact, this food, it has digested and otelo. So please just shut up. I don't mean to be rude though, but just let it go. Let it go. You people go to Buka and buy food that is not oilier than this. So I threw in my turkey fingers into it because I wanted my turkey finger to be peppered turkey. So I threw in my turkey fingers into it at an early stage of cook and gave that a very, very good mix. After some time, I opened my pot and gbogbo ẹ ti sọkútù wọ̀wọ̀. So the remaining mix I used for my fish, I poured it into my stew and I added egg to it. What is what is stew without egg? Ento muta, you know. So I added my eggs into it, and this was how my stew was looking like. It was very, very nice. It was very, very tasty, as in oh slap baje. So I started on my colored Rottini pasta, and I was also going to be making Feccutini. I don't know if that is Feccutini or Tagliatelle. I don't know, but anyhow it is, I'm not an Italian. So I boiled my water first, then I checked up on my meat. Homo, it was, I wish you guys were in the kitchen. The smell was, it was banging. You know when you don't like to eat something raw, you don't like to eat a steak very, very raw. You don't like raw thing at all, but you also want it to be like juicy and give you that steak kind of vibe. This is what you do. Exactly the meat was well cooked, very, very well cooked, and it was very juicy. I kid you not. It was very tender on the inside, and it was very, very juicy. You can see how it was easy to cut, no struggle, nothing at all. And that stayed in the oven for about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes was how we stayed in the oven. Look at how it looks, very, very juicy, very, very nice, very sweet, and very delicious. If you, oh, I need to hype myself. I must say, yeah, as in, must say, shaggy. Olomo. So, as you all know, is the water I use to boil my meat. I use in boiling my pasta. If you're new here, that's how I do. And if you have anything to complain about it, gas station loco logba 2 portion of rice. So, in my boiling water, I went in with my Rottini, and in no time, my Feccutini was done. This was how it was looking. It was very, very, very soft, and it does not take time to cook. I added my spring onions, and that was all about that. My rotini too in no time was ready. And you guys that feel like because it is colored, it is not healthy, it is healthy color they use in making it. Some of them use plant-based color to make it, and that was all about my pasta. And I checked up on my fish, and it was ready. It was ready. It was very soft. It was well cooked. I placed the fish in the oven at 150 degree for 25 minutes. I timed this because I didn't want my fish to break. Yes, I didn't want my fish to break. You see how soft it is. The fish, a giant dark no sauce. So after packing my fish, it's time to fry the meat. I went in with my butter, President butter to be precise. I felt like I made a very, very big mistake even using President butter because it made the oil at the end look like NG oil. But you know what? Inu ikoko dudu ni ekofufuntin come outside. So I used sesame oil, normal granite oil, and President butter, and this is my meat after like 1 hour because I set it aside. I placed it inside the freezer. Yeah, you can ask me why. I don't know why. My brain just told me to do like that. So I threw my meat into the oil and it was frying. I added garlic to for taste and for the whole paparazzi. And this was my meat while it was frying in the shallow oil. I turned the oil around so that to touch every corner of the meat, no one will be left unfried. Though I know that people will be like, oh, why is the oil getting black? Like I said earlier, it is because of the president butter. It's not like as if the oil is bad or something. It was the president butter that made it look like that. But look at the juicy meat. Look at how my meat look like. When I told you that inú ìkòkò dúdú ni ẹ̀kọ funfun tí ń jáde, I was not playing. Look how juicy and clean and squid. Oluwa. Maybe by me, I feel like having this again. So in no time, my meat was ready. I packed it out, and this was how it was looking like. It was very, very tender, very sweet. Like I told you, if you want to use this kind of meat, you say you want tozo. Yes, outside people call it tozo, but I want Yoruba ike ẹran ló máa ń pè. This is how my stew looks like. This is my Rottini, and this is my Feccutini pasta. And this was how the food looked like when I served everybody. Lovelies, you guys know I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and bye bye. See you on the next one. I love you. Mwah.